All right, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. So I've got another treat with patch 1.57, another preview. Today we're going to be going over two new maps, one of which was announced today, called Volokolamsk. You know what? And it's basically the outskirts of Moscow. So let's go over the information we have. You can see right there a beautifully destroyed Panzer IV. And he had a rough time, it looks like. A very valiant defense of Moscow it was. But this is the Moscow area set in the winter of 1941. The Germans are on the outskirts of Moscow. The fate of Russia and Europe may be decided on these fields. Tank engines roar and the flash of cannon fire lights up the snowbanks. The Russian winter turns hot on the battlefield in the new Volokolamsk map in War Thunder Update 1.57. So, the map itself, Volokolamsk, was created based on the neighborhood of the Volokolamsk Highway, where General Panfilov's division withstood Hitler's attacking troops. The road from the moderately hilly and open areas surrounding a small frozen lake converge around three villages traditional to the area. This is where the main events of the tank battle will take place. So you can see some frozen rivers, some nice trench works. And to recreate the trenches, we asked the film crew of Panfilov's 28 for assistance. That's the movie that Gaijin has kind of sponsored in a way. And it, from the trailer, it looks like it'd be some pretty good action, a very good foreign film for those of us outside of Russia, at least worth looking into, right? I mean, that's the one thing. I was watching We Were Soldiers last night because I was interested in helicopter combat recently. And there's just good war movies are only produced every couple years, it seems. I wish we could have one like every 6 months, right? But anyway, let's get back to business. The creators of this film thoroughly researched the situation related to the position of troops on the battlefield. We tried to recreate the fortifications of the famous 4th Company for the map. On the same field where the famous battle took place, the artists have placed burnt-out German tank wrecks. They had a bad time. A railway embankment with a bombed-out train, which you can see right here, which is gorgeous, a part of which has been derailed, is situated behind the Red Army trenches. Here's a good look on the trenches. A feature of Volokolamsk is the combat in the villages. So you have these wide-open snowy plains, and the trench works and stuff, which you can kind of hide and maybe, kind of hold down where maybe only your turret is exposed. But then you've got the villages, where tankers will have to break through fences and domestic structures and sometimes even destroy the abandoned houses using the new physics that Gaijin put in the previous patch to get the most advantageous positions. So it's kind of cool that the villages will be a dynamic battlefield. In that one battle, you may not destroy houses and may use them as cover, and one time you may break through them in order to flank and get that flanking blow on that bastard who's been holding your convoy down. Anyway, the peak of the battle for the central village is a small hill with a destroyed house on it. From there you can easily destroy incoming enemies, but it's important to remember that there isn't much cover around either. So that should be pretty interesting to have a focal point within this kind of village, right? So Volokolamsk, a new location for ground and mixed battles, will be available to all players in War Thunder Update 1.57. See you in battle. So that was that. You look at these maps, or the screenshots rather, and it should provide a variety of things. And I know that they've been doing a better job on the maps. I think that the desert maps that they incorporated, I think it is Tunisia or Tunis, is my favorite map that they've added. I think it's brilliantly done. There's different areas, so depending on where the focal point is, based off the capture points, because they can be variable, it really changes the style and the flavor of the combat. It's kind of a different situation almost every time, right? And they're very, very well done. There's some maps that truthfully I think are crap. And I wouldn't say crap, but they're hard to enjoy, right? But I think that some of the first, it's almost like the first maps that they came out with were pretty good. Granted, it could be biased because that was the first time we got to experience tank warfare, so maybe it was just epic anyway, especially for myself being a big tanker. But I think they've been doing a much better job with regard to the maps lately, because there was kind of a lull in the maps that they introduced. I remember when they introduced Poland and Eastern Europe, those were very, very good urban maps. But I'd say maybe the second round of maps were kind of the ones that I look at least fondly. But the cool thing about it is they constantly update them. So maps that I used to hate, you know, they've gotten a little bit better. But the maps that they put out recently have just been killing it. I think they've been working hard on it. So I'm appreciative of that. So that is Volokolamsk. Now let's go back to Snowy Valley. For those of you who are not aware of it, this one looks really cool. Like, look at that train. So this one is kind of like Volokolamsk was themed with the outskirts of Moscow. In the winter, this one is themed to the Alps. So let's check out some information. Featuring mountain passes, snow-covered foliage, a quiet town, and a railway station. This peaceful serenity has been disturbed by the destructive nature of war, and the town is now deserted. The trains have been derailed from the railway tracks, bombs have destroyed the stone bridge across the gorge, and traces of tank tracks now run atop the snow-covered hills. Engines can be heard roaring from within the valley, cannon shots echoing throughout the ancient mountains, and the chairlifts swing, and the air disturbed due to low-flying aircraft. The battle for a critical foothold in the Alps has begun. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Snowy Valley. The game location has been inspired by the alpine landscape and is suitable for both aircraft and ground forces battles. The location will have several available mission variants: domination, battle, and 3 variants of conquest. One of the main features of this location is a short tunnel with damaged wagons turned upside down, which also feature a capture point in several mission variants. The hardcore combat experienced at close range in a confined environment with wagons for vital cover is something truly new in War Thunder. So this, ladies and gentlemen, would be the first map maybe featuring close quarters combat, like tooth and nail and knife kind of stuff if you would be an infantryman, but now, you know, simple, like less than 10 meters away kind of combat should be pretty interesting for tanks. So something that has pretty good sloped armor, high rates of fire, something like that may prove to be a rather adequate close quarters brawler. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because you have the broken bridges, you've got some villages, you've got the various changes in elevation, albeit somewhat slight, but especially around the bridge area, should provide for a number of good sniping points. And then you've got that tunnel where the close quarters happen. So you've got everything from long to medium to very, very intimately close range battles, which should prove pretty interesting. So this is the second batch of map pictures that we've got. We've got Volokolamsk and Snowy Valley. Both are winter-themed maps, right? So hopefully we'll get some new winter camos for some of the tanks that don't have them. And let's see, within the new vehicles, it should be interesting. Like, can you imagine flying your Focke-Wulf 189 over these maps, scouting and pinging tanks for your friends? I really hope they add a good scout mechanic, because they could really open some doors for another style of gameplay, specifically within realistic battle tanks, where you have the option after you earn enough points to respawn in an aircraft. So being able to low fly over and ping tanks, that would be very fun. I think that's one of the areas that War Thunder should really get into, is expanding the scope of the experience, right? Because right now, this is a talking point that I really want to address, and I'm going to start a series for it specifically, is what is the point of War Thunder? What is the ultimate objective? What are we going for? Because right now, it's simple combat, and while that can be fun, I think it lacks true satisfaction in the long run, something that will keep you invested in a game for years and years. Because, we'll save that for another time. It's going to be fun. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I think you guys will be very interested to hear more about it. So, patch 1.57, let's go over what we have. We have the new Tier 5 Falcon AA for the British SPAA tree. We've got the T44-100. It is a main line tank, which honestly I think is just another grindy piece for Russian tankers before they get what they truly want, which is a T-54. So it's not, I don't think people should be freaking out about that. You might be a little bit annoyed if you're a Russian tanker, but other than that, it's just another Russian tank. Truly. The Dornier 335, which would be kind of the technological marvel type focal point that Gaijin is adding to War Thunder. Focke-Wulf 189, something that could introduce a very interesting and compelling way of playing the game other than just, you know, going out and trying to kill everything, right? Which could be interesting. You've got the KV-1S, which is another one similar to the T-44-100 in my opinion. Another grindy Russian tank you have to get through. The P-61, the American flying tank. And this thing is going to be fun. I would say it's kind of like a technological marvel in a way, or it's an aircraft that presents a style of play that we haven't really truly gotten to experience. It's a flying destroyer. It's going to be interesting with the 420s up front and then the 450s that are independently operated turret. That should prove pretty interesting. The FV4004 Conway, the IS Hunter, the Joseph Stalin Tank Hunter. We'll see how that one plays out. It's more or less looking like a glass cannon, but a very, very good cannon it does have. The Key 83, which is just an amazing, could be, in theory, it should be a very, very solid Japanese aircraft. And then we've got the S-25 Sunderland, the Flying Hotel, a flying boat, a derpy plane, something that I like to see more of because it kind of goes to show you that, hey, maybe War Thunder is also about just silly fun sometimes, right? We've got a flying hotel, and we've got those amazing British 7.7s for defensive armament. And then we've got the Sea Venom FAW-20, the two-seat jet fighter Nigel has returned, the Tiger II SLA, which is a premium King Tiger with an upgraded engine and upgraded armor around the turret, and then the additional tracks. So you've got a lot of extra armor around the turret section on that bad boy. The Nashorn, the German Rhinoceros, an 88mm German gun placed on top of a modified Panzer IV chassis. That thing should be fun. A German glass sniper cannon. And then finally the H-8K2, the aerial cruiser of Japan. I think this is the coolest flying boat. I'm going to call it the floating Death Star because of its 5 20mm in defensive armaments on top of the 5 7.7s. So that thing should be pretty good. Plus the 20s are spread out to where they've got pretty good coverage of the aircraft, especially from the rear. You do not want to attack that thing from the rear. But when I'm flying it, I surely hope you do. So ladies and gentlemen, that's what we've got in patch 1.57 so far. I have made dev blogs on all of these vehicles. You can check the video description below if you're just now getting into the news. If you want more stuff, if you want to keep updated on patch 1.57, I highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And if you're not, a nice salute to you, gentlemen. Thank you for your support. We are getting very close to 300,000 subscribers for our community, and it's very fun to see us grow in development. And I've got some fun series planned for you guys. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you soon.